Welcome, fam, back to the channel of Good, Bad, and the Ugly. We have our guest today, Jaison Shell. Shout out to Jason, everybody.
Hello, everyone. How y'all doing out there?
Awesome. So me and Jason met back in June in Scottsdale, Arizona at a owners club retreat, and found out that he is part of the Astro Flip community. So why don't we just start off, Jason, by kind of sharing who you are and how you invest.
All right. So actually, Jose, I'm in the sub two community.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I'm a Gator. Then I joined the owners club.
So
And
explain what Gator is, because some of the people that are watching this may not be part of the sub two community.
I understood 100%. So Pace Morby created the Gator community pretty much to loan funds to the sub two community. So I'm pretty sure everybody's familiar with sub two at this point. If you know Pace Morby, you know sub two, right?
Yep.
So it created the Gator community, like I said, to loan money for any sub two deals we may get. So could you just? I apologize. Someone has called me like 3 times in a row, and I'm worried that it's an emergency. Jose, you know what? He can wait. He can wait. He can wait. So sorry about that, man.
No, you're good. I was gonna try to pause it, but when you
Yeah,
get on live
no.
stream, it's kind of hard to pause.
Yeah, exactly. Right. If somebody from the
And I apologize for that. Maybe I'll start doing
no,
recording.
no worries. So that's on me. So yeah. So I actually, if you want, I could give the rundown on how I got into
I want to know everything about you, man. I want to know your story. I want to know how you're investing. I'll ask you some questions, as you tell me a little bit about your story to kind of dig a little deeper, get to know you a little bit better.
All right. So pretty much started investing again, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Everybody kind of for the most part read Rich Dad Poor Dad and got the
I
book.
still got to read that book.
Yeah, right. So that's how I found out. Pretty much I read that book and was working my W-2 one day, and that opened up my eyes to everything, right? So went to a seminar from the Rich Dad Poor Dad. The thing that they do as far as selling education, and the guy told me about contract and lead of due, right? And that
Contract and lieu what?
contract and deed of lieu.
Oh, contract and lieu. Okay.
Yep, and deed of lieu of sale. So pretty much that was wholesaling. He introduced me to wholesaling at that point back then, right? And still wasn't familiar with it, but he told me the tactic to do was to go around my neighborhood and find any houses that might have been abandoned or boarded up. And I did. But unfortunately, I didn't know a thing about skip tracing or how I could find the people that may want to sell or made a killing, because this was before gentrification in my neighborhood, and now those same houses that were boarded up, I may have had maybe 50 houses that are boarded up. The base now for every single one is at least maybe 400 grand, something
Oh,
like that.
wow.
Yes, that's for a shell around there. So fast forward to let's say 2020.
Okay.
I got back into it kind of hard because something happened. That's a whole another story. But I started looking into probate leads,
Okay.
right, and to wholesale or what have you. And wholesaling, of course, is when you get a contract and you sell it to a prospective buyer. You get a house under contract and you sell that contract to a buyer, wholesaling, right? So I went into probate leads and was going to the court building early 2020, right? So early 2020, I got back into it and was looking for those leads. And what happened was I was getting a good amount of traction through the court system because they would actually give you the house and the executor of the house, whoever owned the house at that point, or who could make the decisions on the
Yeah.
house, right? So was getting traction. This was early 2020, and of course, the pandemic hit in March, so that shut everything down. I didn't have access to the court buildings or anything that like that. So I knew somebody was still doing business in real estate and wholesaling. So I came across the wholesale hotline, TTP, Brent Daniels. Started with
Mhm.
Brent Daniels, right? And joined TTP. And their method is cold calling. And it works. It really works. I was having some really good conversations. Of course, I got a lot of cuss outs and people hanging up on me, but I'm still here.
So, for the audience, just in case this is like a newbie, never heard the term before,
Cold
in your
calling.
own words, what is cold calling?
All right, so cold calling is when you get say I go to find a house, ugly house that's abandoned, right? I get the address for it, and then again, skip tracing. I didn't explain that. I skip trace it. Skip tracing is when you actually find the name and number of the person that owns that house, respectively,
And
right?
how would you do that? Would you like use a website? Would you hire somebody? How do you skip trace? Let me ask you that question.
Well, back then I was using was it Bachelet's, I think it
Okay.
was back then. Yep, I was using Bachelet's at that point back then.
So you
And
basically were using a skip tracing service.
yeah, yep,
Okay.
yep, exactly. Right. So I would just get my list, input it, and get the numbers and insert it into my dialer. Back then I was using a Mojo dialer, pretty much a system that calls multiple people at the same time. It'll ring, somebody will pick up, I'll speak with them, and it's still calling. And when someone else picks up, because I had a triple dollar, I was really into it, right? I had a triple dollar, and another person would pick up. It would say, "Hey, hello, hello, hello. I'm sorry, I'm in a bad area right now. I'll call you back." If I was on the phone, actually talking to a lead.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah, it was really cool. Brent told me that tactic. Don't
Yeah, that way you don't even lose a potential lead, and you can always follow up afterwards. That's great.
exactly. Instead of saying, "Hey, I'm on the phone right now," just say, "Hello, hello, hello, hello. I must be in a bad area. I'll call you back once." And so it worked. Dang, you man, a genius. So and I was getting really good traction, but that being said, I didn't make it work because I didn't put the time in to actually make it work for me. My job is demanding. I work a lot of overtime. I work 12-hour days a lot of the time. So the time that I wanted to commit to cold calling, I would actually go into work overtime at the job. I guess it was the money that's right there in front of you, and I would chase that. But in any case, it
So
worked.
before I forget, are you still working W-2 right now while you're still investing?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I am. I have 23 years in my company, so I have retirement in about 6 of those. Unless I get unless something beautiful happens, then I can retire early. But other
Which
than
it
that,
will.
yeah, I believe so. Yeah, right, Jose. I
Yeah.
believe so. Right. So,
We keep
uh,
working together. It'll come sooner than later.
exactly. And where attention goes, energy flows, and I'm really focused on that, man. Retirement early. Once I get to a point where, I'm I would want to maybe triple my monthly salary in order for me to leave. And once I get to a point where, man, me working, I'm missing out on too much money to be, from working, then okay, it's time to walk away, right? But
Do you mind me
yes.
asking what you do for a W-2?
No, not at all. I work for Verizon. I'm a cable splicing technician for Verizon.
You do
So
you do fiber?
exactly, I splice fiber optics.
Okay. You
Yeah.
using what do you call it, a plasma splicer, or are you doing the old mechanical way?
Oh God, no. Yeah, I got a mass machine. Yeah.
Hey, you didn't know somebody knows something
Yeah,
here. I'm
I
an
see
IT guy, man.
you.
See, I
Yeah,
know something.
I see you, Jose. Yeah.
They taught me a little something. So
Yeah, I got a fusion splicer, man. I burned about
nice.
up to 12 ribbons at one 12 fibers at one time.
Yeah,
Yep, yep, and it's for I can say it, I like my job, I do. I'm it helps people, you
sure,
know,
absolutely.
and when because I get called out for damages. So, a tree fall on a line or a cable burns or a technician can't get a signal to install the customer service, they call me to get a signal. And people are happy to see me whenever I pull up.
Of course they are.
Yeah, yep. Because I'm there to help and fix whatever problem they may have. So it's never a time where I'm getting, let me rewind that. 'Cause if people are out of service, for a certain amount of time, it's irritating. You can't get your internet, and sometimes we got to take people out of service to fix the whole problem. So,
Sure.
but in any case, yeah, so that involves me working a nice amount of overtime, right? I get called in for emergencies in the morning, like, okay, a tree failed, or we have an outage, or anything like that, or, even the next day, like, okay, we can't fix this tonight. We'll come in early tomorrow to fix it, things,
Right.
like that. So, yeah, um, that cut out of my cold calling time. Cold calling is when you call those numbers that you skip trace and ask them if they want to sell the house, pretty much, right? So,
Did you
uh,
have a specific time that you would call? I mean,
I yeah,
since you worked at W-2, I would assume you were limited on the hours of the day that you could call. So did you try to focus or concentrate on certain hours of the day that you would call, or did you just do it whenever you had time?
no, you're right. I will. So I don't have to do work until 10:30. So I was trying to get those calls in. I didn't want to call too early, So
Sure.
I would call from like 9 to 9:45, which is it's a decent amount of time, but not really enough time to make anything happen. Really, I mean, if I'm doing consistently every single day, yeah, you're going to get a lead. You're going to win. Then the
Sure.
follow up that you get. So, but that being said, I would go in for overtime, having to be at work at 7:30, so that would cut out my cold calling time during the week, and I would, end up calling like 2 or 3 times a week instead of every single day, right?
Right.
And then some days I can't really do it at work. I would try to, but it's nah, on my lunch break, I'll say on my lunch break, right? So that didn't work. So I don't want to say it didn't work. It didn't work for me because I didn't make it work. So,
Right.
but that being said, I learned so much from Brent Daniels, man, as far as the script, and and the script is when he would give us a script to call potential leads, and I still use that from time to time, or some parts of it anyway. Um, Learned a lot about that, and actually TTP, talk to people, just having a conversation with their neighbors or anybody in the neighborhood, or if I'm like on the job now, hey man, I see ugly house, talk, just bringing up a spark of conversation about it, just talking to people, and
Sure.
that helps so much, just being able to talk to, and not even just cold callers but agents like now. So fast forward to that. So stop cold calling so much and joined another community of mentorship. And that mentorship focused on out of state real estate, right?
Okay.
So, which was cool because in the area I'm in DC, in the DMV area, and it's so pricey here. Like, that, like, okay, if I want to buy a rental here, the median home price, I think it's like 400K, something like that. Now, creatively, I could do it, but in any case, that mentorship focused on out of state real estate, like areas like Ohio, Alabama, spots like that. And
Okay.
I learned a lot from that one too, because they taught you how to interview property managers, interview real estate agents, and things of that nature. The questions to ask. Um, they gave you the books to read. I read A Tax Free Wealth. I learned about that book through that mentorship.
Okay.
Uh, it's another one that the guy from Bigger Pockets wrote, something about out of state real estate investing or something. I forget the name of the book, but learned a lot about out of state investing through that community. And through that community, he actually introduced me to Bigger Pockets, right? So Bigger Pockets will have boot camps, and one of those boot camps was Pace Morby, right?
He was
So
there physically, or he was mentioned in it?
no, he actually ran one of the boot camps that they have. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, the boot camps that Bigger Pockets has is like you sign up for a boot camp. I think it's like $200, something like that,
Sure.
and they'll teach you certain things, right? One would maybe wholesaling, one may be underwriting, things like that. It's like a maybe a 6-week boot camp, something like that, right?
Gotcha.
And Pace boot camp was, of course, creative financing,
Yep.
right? And so I was like, oh man, that's Pace. I learned about Pace from Brent Daniels and TTP, and they would go back and forth about the best way to wholesale. Of course, Brent was like his thing, of course, is cold calling,
Right.
and Pace's was creative, right, and offering that side of it. And he said something when I was following Brent and in that community that really stuck. And it was the analogy of a golf bag, right? If you golf, you got your driver, you got your wedge, you got your putter, you got your, irons, you got a variety of golf clubs. So they compared it cold calling to just having one driver. Like, okay, I got a driver, and that's all I could do. I could just hit the ball. I
Right.
could just do that one thing. But creative is the whole array of clubs. You know, you-
Absolutely.
right? You got so many options as far as you got sub two, subject to taking over the mortgage. You got sort of financing you could do. You got a hybrid of the two. You got the the Morby method. You got the Alonzo method. So you got shout out to Alonzo, by the way, Alonzo.
I'm
So
glad.
hey, man's awesome. He really is. Got a whole way to wholesale around his method. But in any case, the boot camp. So I'm in the boot camp and listening to Pace and how he's working and how he's talking and everything. Of course, he said, man, just hit home. It made sense,
Sure.
you know. But what really stood out was how much he gives back. The go giver mentality and just making sure that we give back first. And treat other people how you want to be treated. You
Now,
know.
real quick, did you get that from the boot camp, or have you learned that through the time spending with Pace?
Well, so I got that part of him,
Yeah.
how he is through the boot camp.
Okay.
You
Just
know, yeah.
checking, because when I got introduced to Pace, it was through YouTube, right? So I
Ah,
didn't know that side of him, of how much he gives and how big of a heart, like how much he gives of himself. I
yeah.
didn't know that until I actually got into the community. That's why I was asking the question.
I got you. I got you. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I once I joined the boot camp, because I didn't see him too much on YouTube, not too much. I mean, of course, he is there, but
Right.
but now I know, of course. But once I saw him in the boot camp, man, how much, because I think he had an event, a charity event during the boot camp, even, that he was sponsoring. So, like, man, the man is just and Bigger Pockets allots a certain amount of time for your boot camps, and he will go over every single time. You
That's
know,
Pace.
yeah,
Can't put me in a box.
you're right. You're right, man. It was awesome. The amount of you know knowledge that he was giving, man. It was just awesome. That and him wanting to give back, man. It was just I was like, okay, you know what? This is me right here. I'm feeling this right here.
Sure.
This is me. So fast forward to this was maybe July or August, something like that. He had a challenge in October that he was doing. I forget the name of that challenge, whatever it is, man. But
You,
pretty
you
much
did the elephant challenge. Is that what it
it,
was?
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was. I think you're right,
I mean, he
Jose.
did multiple. The strategies he was teaching in each one was different, but the overall arching of the challenge, the one that I'm aware of, is the elephant challenge.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was end of last year, but I became a Gator. through that challenge, and
Okay.
that was my way of kind of getting my foot in the door into
Sure.
the communities. Like, okay, I'll get in doing this and see what it's all about. And when I got in, he was talking about Squad Up Summit. Well, and I was like, okay, it's like, hey, if you're in the community, you're a Gator, so too, gotta come out to Squad Up Summit. He just so I was like, okay, man, hey, he knows what he's talking about, and he's the leader of the community. Let's
Yep.
go. So uh went to Squad Up Summit, and man, that was awesome. I mean, that was the best real estate event I've ever been to. I mean, easily hands down. I've been to a few meetups,
Yeah.
a few events, but that one, because everybody there was just so welcoming, and just like, hey, what are you into? What are you into? What's your name, man? Oh, this is what you do? Okay, this is what I do. And, it was just so cool. Thank you. Shout out to Pace and Jamil for putting that together, man. It was just, it really speaks to how they are, and
Absolutely.
what they attract, So it was just awesome, man. It really was. So I met we have a podcast, me, Mando, Dana, Mike, and
Right.
Paul. Yeah, if you don't mind, shameless plug, we have ours Wednesday nights, 9 o'clock. Check it out. Owners Club Roundtable. Right. So met
You take it on
then
the road too, because I saw your Boston.
yeah, yeah. That
So
was
it's not.
epic. And that was awesome, man. Hey,
You know,
shout out.
I gotta say something though.
Yep.
I didn't know you all smoke cigars.
Well, I do on occasion.
Everybody over there was stogies. I'm like, I didn't know y'all smoke. What is going on? That
Yeah.
was
It's,
eye
it,
opener for me.
it's not a big habit for me, but I'll smoke one occasion to celebrate something more, special occasion. I have one,
That's
It,
nice.
it depends on the situation, right?
Sure.
Right. But yeah, that was cool, man. And shout out to Chino because he came on, and man, that was probably one of the better once the episodes that we had, because he was speaking from the heart, and if Chino, and
Yeah,
man, what he's doing out in Vegas is something special. I mean, really special. He was speaking about how he helped this one particular a lady out, man, and to hear the story it was good, it was it's heartwarming, man. It will melt your
sure.
heart, right? So, Squad Up Summit, right? So, met Squad Up Summit, and when Paige presented opportunity to join Owners Club, I mean, if you had to be there to see it, man, and how he presented it was knocked it out the park, right, man. And shout out to everybody that set that presentation up, man. Everybody in the back, Scott and your everybody that has a helping hand in what we do. I appreciate you all, but in any case, he presented it, and I was like, man, that's I got to get into this. The fact that we are actually part owners of creative title and escrow, disclaimer that, if you need any kind of title work, creative title and escrow, check it out, man, in all 50 states.
Back there,
Yeah.
one of those things right there.
Yes, sir. Right. Right. So that, and being co-owners of Property I as well, it's just the cherry on top to me, man. It really
Absolutely.
is. I got in for reasons just right here. If I was in owners group, wouldn't be sitting here talking to you, Jose. We wouldn't have the relationship that we
No,
had.
wouldn't have
And
met you, right?
exactly right, right.
Eventually, but
Yeah,
it was
maybe.
meant to be is meant to be. Maybe just not as soon, right?
Yep, yep, exactly, brother. So that's the reason I joined, to get in the same room as individuals like yourself, and just the whole network of people that are in owners group. Because sub two is one thing, but I mean the owners group is just. I mean, we're
Yeah,
on the surface of the planet, in sub two, because we're not down here in sub two on the planet. We're actually a step above in sub two, but then owners group, man, has to be, I don't know, man. We're out in
It
through
just
the
it's heading for the stars. All I can say.
yes, right,
If you
right.
think that he's taught us, or he already has one plan for us, he lets us in on the next plan. You know, if you would have
Exactly.
told me, and I've said this on other videos or other episodes that I've had, if you would have told me a year ago that I was going to start a podcast and have people on, and I said, no, I said I'm not interested in doing that. But here I am. I'm interviewing you, episode
Yeah.
number 3, because I didn't say that at the beginning. 3,
Uh-huh.
um, and yeah, man. I mean, I'm posting on YouTube. I'm posting on Instagram. So I'm an old fart. That's not stuff that I grew up doing. So that's all new, and that's all due to Owners Club and Pace, and sharing with us that's just putting another fishing pole in the pond for a potential stream of income.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm with you on that.
100%, man. It's just something a whole nother level. Someone that reached out because I wasn't like yourself. I wasn't posting on social media so much for my business, and I didn't really know what to post even. But
Yeah,
I really didn't. Like, okay, I'm doing ABC, but they tell you not tell you what to post, but just post something about what you're doing. Just
absolutely.
tell your story, even. So yeah, but I got in the owners group, the man, to get into the room. I just wanted to be in a room with like-minded individuals like yourself, and I could rattle off of so many names, man, that have helped and just showed love through the whole time that I've been in it. Like Liuva, shout out Liuva, man. But you know what? Before I do that, let me finish the story of how I got here. Right,
Yeah,
right.
circle
About the
back.
trip. So joint owners club, and a month after that, May 2nd, May 4th is my birthday. I was like, you know what, a perfect birthday gift will be the joint sub 2 to just finish it all off. And I did that, and that's pretty much it, bro, as far as how I got into the community and what have you. So it's been awesome, man. So
Yeah, but you haven't limited yourself to wholesaling, and I mentioned that before we got onto this podcast. Like you're multifaceted. You have multiple strategies that you're using. Can you share with everybody what you're doing?
100%. So I'm glad you brought that up, man, because I had my one-on-one with Pace, right?
Um,
And uh, I love wholesaling. I really do. To me, it's one of the best ways to actually help people out in real estate, man. You find an ugly house or house that someone doesn't want, and you find a buyer for it. And it's just simple as that. I love it. I really do. I'll get back into it one day, but that one-on-one taught me, man, I'm not a wholesaler. I'm not. I'm not a wholesaler. It just hasn't been my thing because of my W-2. Not committing the time to actually do it takes away. Now, if I come across something, or if somebody reaches out like, "Hey, man, my cousin has a house they want to sell," or anything like that, of course, cool. But what I'm into right now, because of that one-on-one pace, like you, for that time and the guidance, I'm more working as a connector, right? And so what I'm doing is working with wholesalers that have properties and finding buyers for them, essentially, right?
okay.
So working as a connector for any kind of deals that any wholesalers may have, any buyers that might be looking. Just let me know the area, and I could find a deal for it. So I actually had the young lady while we were in Boston tell me that I was popular. I don't think I've ever been told that once. I mean, through elementary, junior high, high school, but
You got a
that's
podcast now. People know who you are.
well, I guess so, right? That's Jason with the I, right?
There you
Jason with
go.
the I, and I for investing. So, I know a fair amount of people that are looking for deals, and a fair amount of people that are buying deals. So, I'll be doing that.
But
Just
you also, because you haven't brought it up yet, you also lend if the opportunity is there, and you're
I,
in a position to
yeah,
do
yeah, yeah. So right. So I'm actually on a deal now with Liuva. Shout out to my man Dilva. In owners group, Dilva had a deal. Well, not a deal. He already had a property, I should say, that he was holding on to because he's moving on to multifamily at this point. So this was one of his last single family homes, and he came on a podcast maybe a month or so ago,
Mm-hmm.
and just before Boston, and was talking about this particular home that was sitting vacant for maybe a month or two. So we were talking, and it came out like, man, well, you thought about converting it into a co-living home. He's like, yeah, I actually did, and we we talked offline about it, and I pretty much ended up funding the deal to convert the home into right now it's a 3-2, and we're turning it into a 5-2 in Houston.
Okay.
Yeah, yep. So it's a win-win-win for everybody. So I get to learn about the co-living model because that is my Mount Everest to tackle the affordable housing predicament via co-living, right? So I,
Sure.
I get to learn about co-living through whatever model we want to use. We might do pass split, we might go on our own through veterans and housing them or what have you. So and yeah, it gets me some experience. I get to work with Liuva. He's been in this, man. I mean, hey, the man he's been in it for a while. So I get to learn that aspect as well.
Right.
Tap into the Houston market. So and yeah, man, I'm loving it. So right now, I think it's a 5-year deal that we're doing or what have you.
Okay.
I'm a partner in it, and yeah, man, I'm loving it. Looking forward to it. I really am. So I did. Gator was going to be my end game, really. I
Right.
want to do that once be the bank. That's the end game for me anyway.
Sure.
Right. So but when that opportunity came up, I was like, okay, you know what? It makes sense. So, yeah. So connector, I am a lender on that deal, and I'm actually looking for a JV partner as of right now.
So
For
that's your need.
Yeah, that is my need. Yes, I'm looking
Okay.
for a JV partner for a cash flowing deal. It could be right here where I am in the DMV, or I like the Columbus market, Columbus, Ohio. I like the Midwest. I also
Okay.
like Alabama because I'm looking to cash flow at this point more than appreciate. I'm looking to get my portfolio built up, but then eventually, okay, I'll look for the appreciating of properties, but. Right now, I'm looking for cash flow deals. So if anybody wants to JV with me, hit me up. Let me know, and we can make it happen.
So that's your need. So what do you have to offer other investors that may want to JV with you besides, having money to lend?
Oh man! So again, I have a lot of connections. If we're in this market here, I already have a team that I could go to for that do everything pretty much. I do have not a roofer. I have a drywall guy, plumber, electricians. I have connections. I can offer that. Like I said, I know a lot of people that sell deals and a lot of people that buy deals. So I do have that as well. Uh, I have the funds actually to buy the deal. That if you want, it's not as going to be looking for someone to go in for a PMP or PML, and then I have the liquid funds to actually do it, so we could make it happen right now. And yeah, I think that's it, Jose.
So, kind of getting back to the channel, you've given us a lot of good what's happened in your career. Is there any horror stories or some story, an event that you kind of learned a good lesson that you might want to share with the audience?
Yeah. All right. So I, I've always I did the safety. So Pace gives safety badges. I forget. Oh, man, I forget the name of the what we're doing, but pretty much he's giving classes to learn how to be safe, how to ethics and wholesaling, giving those away for free if you're in the sub too. So, but pretty much the safety class taught me to do your due diligence. A horror story that I just heard, I'm leaving all names out, right? Is
Yeah, please do. I don't need to get sued.
right. So a Gator funded a deal, a EMD deal. And I
EMD is earnest money deposit.
earnest money deposit. So yeah, EMD, when you're going into a deal, you put money up to show how serious you are about the deal. And most of the time, that earnest money deposit, that EMD, is non-refundable, right? So that's why they say if you're a Gator, loan to own, meaning that, okay, if you're going to put the money up for the EMD, hopefully you're able to actually buy the deal or take it over, or know somebody that you could connect with to do it. Because in this particular case, the guy that was wholesaling the deal couldn't get it sold. He kept pushing it, kicking the can down the road, like, okay, we're going to extend it, because he couldn't find a buyer for it. I'm thinking their spread was too wide. They were asking too much, So instead of just closing that spread, saying, okay, look, I'll break even, or even lose a couple of grand just to make the Gator whole, so they don't lose their EMD, and he didn't do that. And pretty much the lender lost, I think it was about 25K, man, that he lost.
Wow.
Yeah. And the wholesaler was just like, man, forget him. Forget that guy. I'm not paying him, whatever. It wasn't remorseful at all. I'm like, it's
Well,
crazy, man.
I don't know if you know this, but there is a scammers Facebook page for us investors that we put people like that on, so that people know not to do business with them.
Really? No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, when we get off this podcast, I'll send you and I'll invite you to the page, so that way you can get educated.
Please.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I use that religiously to make sure that I'm not getting in bed, or getting in bed
Yeah.
with the wrong people, because I already had enough in my in my life where I've trusted the wrong person. So if
Yeah.
someone's already had a bad experience, and I'll move on. I actually, in that same page, somebody was misrepresented, and they corrected the record. They're like, I don't know why this person is saying this about me. It's not true, and they
Oh,
kind of set
wow.
the record straight, which was awesome. I
Yeah.
can believe it anyway, because I knew that person that they were talking about, and I'm like, that person is not how you're
Right.
portraying them. So
Right.
um, you got to take it with a grain of salt, right? You got to depend, because there's no filter on there. Anybody who wants to put somebody's name out there can. So
Yeah.
you just
So
got to be
that's
careful. But it's again a place to start, right?
100%. Yeah, I would want to check it out just to see who's on it. And like in that case, maybe I can help somebody out. Damn, they shouldn't be on there, man. They're good folks. So, because they may not even know. I had no idea. Yeah, please. I was saying, once we all, man, let me know about it, bro.
I'll do that.
Right.
So just to wrap it up a little bit, if people want to get a hold of you, what is your YouTube handle? What is your IG? Do you have a Facebook page that you want people to reach out to you and maybe be a JV for you, or maybe want to ask you some questions from the stuff that you posted?
Yeah.
Let everybody know how to get a hold of you, man.
And you can reach me on all social media channels: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Jaison Shell, JAISON Jason, with the I for investing.
Awesome. Well, Jason, thank you for coming on my show, man. I appreciate it. And of course, we will be seeing each other March, is I guess our next catch up. But hopefully, we won't wait that long to reach out to each other and try to do some business. That's one thing about Owners Club, right? We all are doing business behind the scenes, even when we're not together. So,
Yes,
uh,
sir.
from my heart, man, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you. Glad we got a chance to meet, and I'm looking forward for us to do our first and multiple deals.
Yes, sir. Hey, thank you for having me on, brother. I sincerely appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, man. I
No
really
problem, bro.
appreciate you, bro.
We're
You
gonna
be
grow together.
Yeah, hey, Jose, you've been solid since day one, bro, and I thank you so
Appreciate
much
that.
for it, man. Really, I say you're one of the ones that really, really, really want to help, man. It stands out. So thank you, brother. I
Thank you. I
appreciate
appreciate that.
it. Yeah, that's being real.
Well, audience, until next time, this is Jose from Good, Bad, and Ugly signing off. We'll see you at episode 4.